Okay, so after coming out of this movie, I think I've made a realization for myself, and it's like there are just certain rules that, I'm so happy that we as a society have, but then again, there's also rules that um, I wish that we did have so that, the world could be like not necessarily balanced in a way, but necessarily like good and evil can be like almost at an even playing field, but good is has the slight edge, obviously. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and this is a movie that is also coming out the same weekend as another movie that I'm going to be reviewing relatively soon. And yes, it is the one that you're thinking about. But this one is the Alto Knights. This one sees Robert De Niro, Catherine Narducci, Cosmo Jarvis, Deborah Messing, along with a whole host of other people, very Italian people, just from watching the credits. And it tells the story of two best friends, Frank and Vito, who vie for control over New York's gang activity. When Vito tries to get Frank killed to assert control over the New York gangs, Frank has to find a way to walk away peacefully while giving Vito everything that he wants. So I was interested in this by the trailers alone, just by the simple fact that De Niro was playing two different roles in this, and I also just love a really good gangster movie. I mean, who doesn't love a good gangster movie? And getting out of watching this, I like I said in the intro, there are just like certain things that are like, I wish we still had that around today. But there are also other aspects of it where I'm like, I'm kind of glad we left that in the past because I don't know. It just seems like gangsters and members of the mob or the mafia just seem to live by a code, and I don't know why, but it just reminded me so much of the Wild West. For instance, like you knew the law of the land, and if you broke that law, then you were going to be punished in a certain way. And I just think that that's fair and just. And I don't know if it's, you know, over the last couple of decades or something, but it just seems like there was so much more order and stability in like how life was like, 70 to 80 years ago compared to now. Well, granted, there were, cops and politicians and all that stuff in the pocket of the mob, but I mean, we could still pull parallels to that today. But it just seemed more orderly at that time than it does like now. It just seems like chaos reigns more supreme now than it did back in the 40s and 50s. I don't know. That just may be my weird brain thinking about it, but hey ho. Um, De Niro was really, really good in both of these roles. He definitely found a unique distinction for both of these characters. Frank is definitely the one that, has to have a plan, and which makes him a really good, and you want to root for him because you want his plan to succeed no matter, what plan he ends up doing, because there are multiple plans throughout to try and get him to step away cleanly. But Vito isn't allowing that. Vito is definitely more of the bullish, just try and get stuff done immediately type of guy. And in some situations, that can be of use, but I would say maybe 8 times out of 10, you definitely need to have some sort of a plan going forward. And, that's why we kind of root against Vito, is because, he's, quick to anger and quick to get a reaction out of. And sometimes that can be costly in situations such as, running a mob. Um, yeah, so I just thought De Niro did a really good job of kind of differentiating the two characters very, very seamlessly. Cosmo Jarvis, who played Vincent, I thought he did a really good job of being a lackey and also kind of being kind of the polar opposite to, or kind of being the example as to how Frank and Frank and Vito kind of run the mob, whereas Frank, tells at least a point man that will tell everybody else what's going on. You know, Vito doesn't let anybody get any say. It's like it's either his way or the highway. And when they're going to the summit towards the border of Canada, you know, Vincent says, "Oh, they, Palmyra, which is the city they're passing through, they actually found a Bible here." And Vito's like, "Well, why would they leave? Why would they? Why would they leave here if they found a golden Bible? Why don't you stay and dig up more golden Bibles?" And it just reignites an argument that they have. And I just find it very interesting, showing the differences between our two leads, played by the exact same guy. The direction I thought was really good. Barry Levinson was the one who directed this, and I think he and the cinematographer, who A, I can't remember his name, and B, if I did, it was probably very, very Italian. They did a really good job. They used a lot of circular camera motions where they just had the camera like orbit around two people while they're having a conversation. And I found that similar to what Chris Nolan did in The Dark Knight, with that one scene with Batman, Gordon, and Dent up on the roof and just having them argue in real time. The edit sometimes would kind of like chop up that exchange, but I think overall it was like really, really well edited, really, really well paced. The characters kept you invested in the story, and I thought it was a really, really solid mob story and crime drama film. I thought this was really, really good. Really, really fun time. If you don't want to go see a certain movie coming out, then I would recommend seeing this one. If you were to go see one this weekend, I would say, and if you don't want to go see a certain other film, I would go see Alto Nights, because it was a really, really fun time. De Niro is captivating in both of his roles, directing, cinematography, and editing, really, really good. Writing was also really, really good as well. Really took me back to 50s and 60s S dialogue. And in the soundtrack, I heard Anything Goes, and that just reminded me of when I played as the captain in Anything Goes. So that brought up some really, really good memories as well. So, yeah, Alto Nights was a really, really solid film. I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. But yes, I will be reviewing a certain film later on tonight, and I will be giving my thoughts and kind of discussing, what happens next, essentially. But until then, guys, I'll catch you later.